Okay, hey everybody, welcome back. Today we have an incredible, stunning, super energetic, amazing guest for you. We have Delila on. She has been raw vegan for almost 15 years, I think, and she's super into fitness. She's almost 60 years old and she has total goals. She is so inspiring. So you guys are going to want to stick around to the end. This is going to be such a good one. Let's hop into it. How are you, Delila?
I'm great. I'll tell you later. Thanks for the beautiful kind words. I love you, boo boo. Mwah!
No,
Thank
you
you.
you just got the energy. This is how we're supposed to be
Yeah.
getting as our years go on, as we get older.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be feeling amazing, not like our knees giving out and things going wrong, right? So, how are you feeling at almost 60 and why do you think you're feeling so good?
Amazing because of the life energy and the food. I feel good because I move around. But as I'm maturing, my body's changing. I do see some changes, but it's not as far as my energy level. I'm always on a high note, even with life, whatever's happening in the world. I still feel alive and energized. So I feel great. So thanks for asking.
And no matter what's happening, you still feel alive and energized a lot,
Always.
probably because of your lifestyle, because the fitness and the food, right? Because you weren't always this way. I think you were like big into alcohol and drugs. Forgive me if I'm
Yes.
wrong, but I think so way back and not eating the best. So
Yes.
if
Yes.
that was
Yes.
still the case, you probably wouldn't be this high vibe person, right?
That is correct. That is true. Yeah. And I gotta say, um, one of the things, and I'm gonna say in this life, because at one point I was an alcoholic and I was addicted to certain things and eating processed food. Now that I've been raw for over close to 15 years, I'm noticing that I've forgiven a lot of people. Also, since I've been healing my body, I've also healing my spirit because I've actually reached out to people and apologized for certain things that I did that was not conducive to the lifestyle where I am. I don't want to transition with regret and think about I should have reached out. So I've been reaching out. On the 10th year, I started reaching out, calling people and apologizing for what I did or what I said, because I wasn't always a nice person. You know, when you're alcoholic, I did a lot of things that was not not nice. So I wanted to, and there's some people who forgave me and some people that hung up the phone, but what makes me feel good is that I made the effort to clean up my act and didn't leave it and act like it never existed. So it was a healing process for me because the food is healing, but also to step out of my uncomfort zone and make those calls and reach out and to apologize and to have the uncomfortable conversation. That
Wow,
was really
I
deep.
love that. And that takes so much courage and confidence and self-love and just strength to do that, to pick up the phone and say sorry. Like, and that takes a lot of dropping the ego. That is not easy. And like, how cleansing is that, especially as we age? Because as we age, it's really easy to be angry and hold on to things because you go
Yes.
through more and more experiences as you age. And like, you can go through a lot of crap and hold on to anger towards people. So, wow, that's probably one of the best things you can do because the anger and the stress, they really manifest into
It
like,
ages you too. Because
yeah.
if I'm eating nutritionally dense food and I'm in nature and I'm enjoying life, that part was always an issue for me because it was always a constant reminder. I couldn't really move forward unless I cleaned up so I can go forward. So it was aging me and I had some shame in me. I was embarrassed. So now when I come on social media, because I know they're on social media, I did my part. What they do with it is not out of my control. I can't control how they're going to receive it, but I can control on cleaning up and owning my stuff.
Yeah. And I think the fact that you see that and you have the self-awareness to see, okay, maybe I did do some things wrong, whether you were wrong or they were wrong, to have the self-awareness to do that and admit that and call them, like that's so huge. I know so many people that have done so many things and their egos are so big, they would never say sorry for it. So, so much respect. Way to go.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so okay, almost 15 years raw. So only raw
Mhm.
food. So for people who don't know you, why raw food and how did you get into this in the first place?
Ooh, that's an amazing question. Thank you. I got into it because I grew up in a dysfunction family. I grew up on welfare, processed food, didn't know my dad. Um, Tried to unlife myself 2 or 3 times, not successful at it, thank goodness.
Thank
And
God.
I know that's what I said, thank goodness. I wasn't good at it. But I realized that I needed something, and I think for me, the pivotal moment. and I needed therapy, was my sister. The fibroids too. I had the fibroids. And a lot of times we deal with the fibroids on a physical level, but I was holding anger towards my dad. I was angry because he abandoned us. I didn't know how to communicate that because in my life, you didn't want to be soft. You had to be tough.
Hmm.
You had to be tough. I'll take that bullet. In the neighborhood, in the hood where I grew up in the Black community, it was the dirty dozen. So I grew up with a lot of pain, but I masked it by being tough. I masked it with alcohol. I didn't know subconsciously why I was doing what I was doing, but I was self-destructing. But we glorified drinking. Let's go to happy hour. So I thought I was being normal, but then the fibroids came, and then they wanted to give me a hysterectomy, and then I had a hypothyroid. They wanted to cut my throat. So it looked like on the surface I had it together, but I was falling apart.
Hmm.
I was falling apart.
Yeah. And then you got into raw foods and you had a
Yeah,
huge transformation, body, mind, and
yeah.
soul, right?
And that's what happened when my sister, the fibroids is what transitioned me to raw vegan food because my sister was raw and she kept saying, they're going to cut you. And the fibroids was big. It was hard too because she felt my stomach and it wouldn't move. And then she held my stomach and she was crying. Then I started crying and she said, we got to do something because if you don't do anything, you're not going to be here that long. And so I said, well, I don't know what to do. What am I going to do? And then she started crying. I started crying. I'll never forget it. We hugged each other. And I said, I want to live. I want to live. I really want to live. And then she said, well, I'm going to help you. And that's where the raw foods came in. And you'll meet her, Body Culinary, when you do an interview with her. But she's the one that really threw me a lifesaver because I was self-destructive in every way imaginable. And she helped me realize how precious life really is.
Yeah.
So that's where the raw food came from. She was a raw vegan chef. And also to be honest with you, because I'm gonna be honest with you, I was out there doing some stuff. And
Yeah.
even like selling weed. I was out there, I
Mhm.
was a horrible
Yeah.
selling weed because I was smoking half the stuff. So I was like, you're bad at this too. So she made me believe in myself. She gave me hope. She told me that I'm somebody and that she loved me because I never really had somebody tell me that they loved me without wanting anything. But she loved me, and her love was, I really want you to live. My love for you is not what I could get from you. It's what I could do for you. So she showed me service of how humanity and love unconditionally. I never experienced that, not even from my mom.
Wow.
Not
Wow.
even from my mom. My mom was the type of person would be like, well, you owe me. I could have killed, you. What did she say to me? She said to me, I brought you in this world and I could take you out. She said, basically, you owe me. I remember when I was graduating out of college and she says, well, I'm not going to be working. So I gave life to you and you should take care of me. And I was like, what?
Yeah. It's like you're my mom. What?
I was like, on my graduation day, this is how you say, I was like, what? So I've always felt that. And I've always felt with my mom that she had me at 14. She didn't want me. I'm gonna be honest with you. She had me because and she was at the abortion clinic and she was going to abort me, but some woman told her, let's have coffee and let's talk about it. So the woman talked her off the ledge. And so I
I think
felt
you
it.
told me that before. Wow.
Yeah, I felt, you always as a child, you can feel it in the connection with your mother. You know when somebody doesn't want you. But she had me because a woman touched her heartstrings, and so she had me. But even when I was growing up, I walked the streets. I was in the street. My mother, she was doing her thing, having babies. We all have different daddies. So I was a girl, young girl on the streets trying to survive and go for free lunch. Thank God for free lunch. And even though it was processed, I just was happy to get a meal because my mother was not emotionally available to take care of us. She was in her own head and going looking for love because she also had daddy issues. She was looking for a man to love her and take care of her. And while she had us and she was on public assistance, she was having more babies, but she wasn't taking care of the ones that she had. So I was raised by the streets. So it made sense for me to try to appease her. I would give her money and break off what I had when I used to pack grocery bags and do things and buy my own school clothes to make her love me. I was paying for love. So for me, the fibroids came from emotional trauma as a child of wanting to be hugged and loved. by somebody that brought you in the world, even not knowing my dad. And it was just extremely traumatic for me. So,
Wow, Delilah. Wow. Well, thanks for opening up and
mhm.
sharing all that because it's so relatable. A lot of us go through a lot of traumas and a lot of things. And do you feel like you've been able to work through a lot of these traumas being on a cleaner lifestyle? I feel like that's a
Yes,
big difference, right? For
that was
versus,
the icing on it. That was the nail on the icing on the cake for me because my sister, who was raw vegan, and she was taking a lot of self-help and she was going to all of these courses. I wasn't, I was running the street. But when I was sick, she came to me and she spoke to me and she made food for me. She washed, set a bath for me and made sure I was okay. She saved me because I needed love. And she also showed me love in the food, the healing, the raw vegan food. It wasn't processed. She went to the store, cut the vegetables. She gave everything was an act of love. It was a beautiful bouquet.
hmm.
And so when she fed it to me, my heart and my soul opened up for the first time. It was like I know what it is to feel up.
And then that transformed your life. See, my dad used to say before he passed away, like, everybody at the end of the day just wants to be loved. It makes such a big
Mm-hmm.
difference to have that
Mm-hmm.
love and care around you, right? Well, thank God you had your sister, because who knows?
Thank God. I didn't have, I don't know what, I don't even know if I would be here. But she gave me love in the food. And that's one thing about the raw vegan lifestyle. It has the nutrients. It has the real flavor from Mother Earth. You're getting all of the chlorophyll, all of the phytonutrients. And it's really medicine. So when she taught me how to make it, I said to myself, I'm going to stay on this trajectory because this is the first time that I've ever felt because I've been so numb. The other stuff was numbing me out and masking and blocking my neurotransmitters and all this other stuff. This is the when I ate raw foods and I started to open up, it was the first time that I could feel again. I was numb. I wasn't feeling for a long time. I was actually dead. Raw foods brought life to my mind, body, and my soul.
And a lot of people think, with those other things that numb you, like that's better. A lot of people just think like this feels better. It can't feel that good on the raw foods.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I'm just going to stay here, right? Where it's like numbing
Mm-hmm.
and they think they get a little high and they think it's better,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they think it's
Mm-hmm.
boring over there and I don't want to
Right.
feel like that over there. So how does it compare? How is over there? Is it a lot better now that you've lived both worlds?
For me, being raw is I'm going to be honest with you. It has given me purpose. That's what I'm saying. Like when I was um, processed and I was drinking alcohol and smoking, I wanted to die. I didn't know what it was to live. When I started eating raw, my taste buds opened up. When my taste buds opened up, my brain opened up. I started thinking properly because when you're eating processed food, it numbs you because the chemicals are really taking effect on your hormones. That's where the fibroids came. Then also with the emotional trauma from my dad and me knowing that my mother had issues of how to love me, it just it the food was not loving and the outside world was very traumatizing and very mean to me. So I was always like this in the world. I was scared to even go outside. But then I had to be tough because I was always getting beat up when you're in the hood. You have to be tough. So I didn't even know what it was to be myself. I didn't even know who I was because I was
Mm.
so busy wearing a mask, trying to be safe on the streets as a woman, not to be approached sexually, because I'm a young girl and I'm developing and they don't see me as a soul. They see me as whatever. But I got catcalled and I was scared. I had to, some days I saw a bunch of guys that would run because they would try to approach me. Hey, what's your name? And I'm only 14, 15, and these men are like 50 construction workers. And I just, it was just, it's not until raw foods came into my life and I was able to feel again and I was able to know what love is without the sex because my sister loved me unconditionally and it made me feel like I want to be here. I want to fight for my life because I didn't have a reason at that point to fight because I was if it's going to be like this then let me get out of here because I don't know how to function because I'm always living in constant fear and phobia of humanity and what's happening. So now that things are happening, I have a different perspective on life because I know the other side. I know nature. I know food. I'm in a garden now, so that's my religion. I'm actually engaging in the process of life. I'm connected to the food source. I feel the soil. The soil is life. I am connected to the soil. As I transition out of this body, I go back to dirt. So I see the global, the whole picture, the circle of life. And that's what's so beautiful. I see it. I feel it.
I love that. And have you been tempted to go back to the dark side at all over all these years? Because almost 15 years. Wow. Have you ever been tempted to like head back to the other side or no?
No, because of what, if I always say, if I feel this great at this point, imagine if I keep going. Because for me, it's like being going back to an abusive relationship. It's
Mm.
like, you look good, but you used to beat me up, and I used to get black eyes and end up in a hospital. So I don't want to go back to what wasn't working for me, and I'm not going to romanticize it. It was what it was because I didn't know any better. But now that I know better, I do better. So I'm 59. I feel amazing. And I know when I get 60, 70, it's only going to get better. So yeah, that's
And
why
how
I
incredible, really, to go from eating a lot of your life processed foods and like next to no fruits and vegetables to this, right? So it goes to
it's
show like
amazing.
there's hope. And to be 59 thriving like this, it's such an inspiration. So, okay, like any advice for, people watching who want to age at their best like this and have this level of energy and life and strength and vitality?
I would say, great question. I would say open up your heart because I think a lot of times, and I'm gonna say this, and I know it's not gonna be very popular. I grew up in a very religious family where Jesus died for our sins, and so I didn't have to step out and do the work. I would say for somebody who's standing on the sidelines, it's very difficult because you a lot of people like me have never experienced what it feels like to be 100% healthy. We've always been addicted because we live in a system that is gonna give you the drugs to keep you on the stroll. But to break out of that mindset, it requires you do the work. And what it is that a lot of us are complacent. We're comfortable. And I'm going to tell you, and I'm not going to gas you up, it's very challenging and uncomfortable. And then a lot of times when I did do this lifestyle, it was just me and my sister. Nobody wanted to invite us anywhere. I remember my family wouldn't even invite us to Christmas and Thanksgiving because they said the food was terrible. And
No
yeah,
way.
then they said you look like a crackhead. You're
Oh,
too skinny. Because I come from a big family church. 300 pounds, bucking with diabetes. That's normal. So when they started seeing me and I was healthy, they were like, "Well, you look so like a crackhead. You look like where's your sick weight? So if you get sick, what do you have?" And I was like, "Wow." So we live in two different realities. You know what I'm saying? Because to them, I was sick, but now this is 15 years later. Now they're asking me for recipes. My mom is saying, the diabetes is getting worse and I can't afford the medication. Can you give me a green juice recipe?
good. Wow. Well, not good she has diabetes, but good she.
Right. That she's starting to open up. It took that long. And so what I'm saying to the person that's sitting here listening to this, I'm not going to lie to you. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's very, if you're going to lose some people who are going to find you boring. They're going to say that, well, we used to hang out. You used to be funny. You're not funny anymore. That's because you're changing. You're changing inside and outside. And bottom line is that when you change, it makes other people uncomfortable because you're leveling up and they know you from what you used to be. And they keep thinking, oh, well, she's going to change because she's been doing this before. She's done diets before and she came right back. Give her some time. But I never went back. I never went back to my drinking buddies. And so now I have a friend that died 5 years of cirrhosis of the liver. He reached out to me for green juice. And I said, I can help you with more than just the green juice. I could get meals and stuff like that. He said, it's too late for me. I can't change. He said, I should have changed when you changed, but I'm too old for change. He said, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to do it. I'm too old. I'm too old to change.
Oh, wow.
And he died shortly after that because he called me when he was already in the hospital. And he had found me on Instagram and he reached out to me and I took his call. And shortly after that, like about a month later, he died.
It reminds me of my dad because my dad, he passed away this year and he was staying with me last November. I was taking care of him for a little bit. And then my friend was there from Toronto visiting with her son, and her son's like 19. And her son asked my dad, what's some life advice you'd give to somebody my age? So my
Mhm.
dad was like 74, and my dad pointed at me and said, do what she's doing, like with your health, you
Wow.
know? And it was unfortunately too late with his
Wow,
lifestyle too. We
wow.
lost my dad a couple months later, but I mean, for a lot of people, it's not too late. And a lot of people still
No.
can like turn around even in 60s and 70s, right?
Yep,
That's the amazing thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And like
It's
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, who knows where you'd be today, right? If you didn't do this. I love like
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And all these years raw, like how have you made it work and what has motivated you to stay on track? I guess because you don't want to go back to how you felt before, right? But like how can
Right.
people like stay on track long term? Because it's easy for people to do it and be like, okay, I'm going to cleanse. But then a lot of
Hmm.
people fall back and then, you know.
I would say watching channels like yours, having a
Hmm.
community, because no man is an island. I got to tell you, one of my biggest kept secrets is my sister. If I didn't have her, I don't know what I would do. But what I do know is that she keeps me, she's like my rock of Gibraltar. She keeps me accountable. She's like my accountability buddy. And also with a lot of the alcohol, I also had deceptive ways. I used to be a big liar. So a lot of times she says, you're not drinking, but you still have those alcoholic ways. You still try to instead of, so she, to be honest, she has been working with me because you could stop the alcohol, but there's other things that needs to be cleaned up. So she has been really keeping it 100 with me. And I would also say be around people who are honest with you, and your feelings are going to get hurt because you're getting rid of old toxic ways that no longer serve you. So of course it's going to be uncomfortable when somebody call you out, but just be grateful that somebody invests in you, that they put time in to communicate that to you, because they could not say anything and let you go about your business. So just by the mere fact that somebody reached out to you and said, you know what, do you have time? I want to share something with you. You know what I'm saying? That's important because people don't have to give you their time.
Hmm.
That's important. So that to me has been my saving grace, is to hang out with people who see me and love me unconditionally, to have the uncomfortable conversation.
I love that. And maybe this is a lesson too. And like we can be
Mhm.
that for other people, like how your sister's been like that for you.
Mhm.
Like maybe that's inspired you to be that love and be that care and be that help for somebody else, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's how, to be honest with you, when you start to create different habits and belief systems, you change. I've been doing Tony Robbins, because even with the raw foods, my spirit had needed to be detoxed too, because it was very processed too. So I needed to be around in the conversation of people who are enlightened, because I can eat raw foods and still, hang around people who are cursing, drinking alcohol, fornicating. They're not good people. And it doesn't measure up to where I want to be, where I know before I leave this body what I'm capable of being. I'm a good person. I know I am. I just been I just been dealing with the wrong people, and I have picked up some bad habits. But it doesn't define me, and it's not over. So I can change. So I've been working with a lot of, even hypnotherapy, a lot of stuff, therapy, that now that I got the food, I need to get my spirit right. I need to get my spirit raw vegan, my mind, body, soul on the same page. Because you could be raw. There's raw vegans that are unethical and hiding behind the scenes. You want to be the real authenticity, like you have integrity. I want to move with a sense of integrity that you could say, well, you know what, Delilah, I may not agree with her, a lot of what she says, but I have respect for her because she stands her ground. She doesn't wishy-washy. Because I get a lot of people trying to tell me they want to collaborate with me and want me to sell vitamins. Now I don't take vitamins. So for me to come up and for the money, and it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. I do the juicer. We do the Nama juicer because I believe in it, because that's what I use. But it would be not ethical of me to take something for the money and then come up here and try to sell somebody something just for some money that I'm not using. It's like I said, I being ethical, not losing my integrity. Because one of the things that I respect about the raw vegan lifestyle is that you start to be more spiritual. You start to be in tune with your higher self. And my higher self wouldn't want to lie to somebody and for the money and say, well, if you follow me or if you buy this, I make money. And I don't. And I'm selling you something. And we in the world right now, we have enough people lying to us, trying to sell us things for money. We got people who make a lot of money from deceiving people, and I don't want to be one of those people, because I know in my soul that that's not who I am. And if I was to transition out of this body, I would not feel good about myself that I lied to you.
Yeah.
I'd rather tell you the truth and you be mad at me than me to lie to you and tell you something that's not true.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time to get like this because I, as a child, used to lie because I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel safe and I wanted people to like me. I was very insecure. So I'm comfortable in my skin enough to say, you know what, if the person gets upset, they get upset. But I have to tell the truth.
Yeah. I only align with things too that I believe in and love. And I mean, yeah, 100%. I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go.
And I think like with the raw food, as we eat raw food and we take such good care of ourselves, and it's kind of just you raise your vibes, you feel more like your highest self, and it's
Hmm.
such a good thing. So I feel like it's a domino effect, right? That leads to other good things where you're taking better care about yourself.
Exactly,
That's why you've had
exactly.
this domino effect of like forgiving people, picking up the phone, or you've moved to Belize and totally changed your life. Like there's all these positive things
It's
that probably never
beautiful.
would have happened if you didn't start with the food, right?
It is, Julian, it is such a beautiful thing. And also like I want to say, and I love you. I want to say I love you, and I love
Same.
the work that you're doing, and I see your soul. Like I think we live in a world where we are so busy fighting and departmentalizing and saying, oh, that person's gay, that person's straight, that person's black, that person's this and that. What I see with the raw vegan world is that we merge as one family. Like we see past the physical world. I know this is going to sound some people like she sound a little hokey, but I see your soul. I see the beauty of you. I see past your, and I see you, but I see your essence, and that's what's so beautiful about this because I'm 59 and I'm a people lover and I love you. I love people because when they open their mouth, I can feel your energy. And for me, I don't have the time to argue or to separate from humanity. You know what I'm saying? I don't have the time to buy into that like with the whole race thing, the whole that's your listen, if you're a good person and you have a good heart, then that's let's be friends. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I
I don't have the
agree.
time to talk about Democrat, Republican, gay, straight, transvestite. If you are a good person with a good heart,
I
then you
agree.
are my tribe. You
I
are my
agree.
family. And
And
that's it.
I just want to say, like, how far have you evolved? Like, it's crazy. You have evolved so much in this life because I can only imagine the trauma and the way it feels to grow up and have like the mother, the person that carried you. And like
Mhm.
that's supposed to be like the ultimate connection and your safety in
Uh-huh.
this world and your love, like next to God. Like that's like your living God right there. So to not have that and to have like where you didn't feel loved by your mom, like at all and all of that trauma, and then
Uh-huh.
to end up like to the evolved level max 10 out of 10 where you are like way to go, you're like number one in God's eyes, so good job.
I feel so great. And I feel for in this body, I feel that I want to give back. I am my brother's keeper. I want to be part of the solution. And what I love about what we're doing is that we are helping people. We're part of the solution because we're giving people, instead of telling them what they should not be doing and reprimanding them and saying, you should be doing
Mm.
this, you should be doing that. That's a turn off. People get enough of
Such a
that out
turn
in the
off. That's the
street, you
worst.
know.
I can't
So
stand that.
I do too. It actually makes me want to go back and be when people say, "Oh, you're such a bad person, you shouldn't be doing it." That's like, okay, I'm gonna really show you how bad I am. I'm gonna do this. So it's like, so
Right?
it's like by me having a green juice while I'm doing a live, or me having a salad, people will be like, "Hey, what are you eating? That looks really good."
Hmm.
That's that's it. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to beat somebody up with words. You don't have to say, well, I'm going to beat you with the Bible or the Quran or this and that because you're a bad person. If you are really a child of God, you should be doing this. Listen, baby, I'm enjoying my green juice. Would you like some?
Exactly. I
That's
love
it.
that. I love
That's
that.
it.
And
Yeah,
what
it's a loving vibration because people are constantly being beat up by the world when they step outside. They got to pay their bills. They're trying to figure out how to get this life to survive. People are in survive mode. It's like fight or flight. The last thing I need to be, as somebody who's saying that, I want to help humanity, I want to serve my brothers and my sisters. The last thing they need is me telling them that, you shouldn't be eating this, you shouldn't be eating that. listen, I'm eating this. Would you like some? Would you
Mm-hmm.
like some?
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. We covered ground. And then they'll say, that was really good. And I get people a lot saying that was really good. I want to try that. When they get home, they try that, and that leads to other things. It's a catalyst. You have to give people grace. You have to,
Mm-hmm.
because we were not always like that. And I would
No,
be a hypocrite if I went and said, well, you should be doing this. Who am I to throw rocks at glass houses? I have sinned.
me too. Yeah, I agree 100%. Well, we want to know too what you are doing. Like, what are some of your keys? The green juices, certain meals, like, what are you eating in a day? How have you made this work such long term? And like to be so healthy and fit, like you're not wasting away. You don't look like a crackhead. Like you literally look incredible. Look at your muscle, look at your body, right?
Yeah, I think for me, what it is the food, but it's also the sleep, it's the hydration, it's the meditation. It's the because a lot of times you could be eating healthy food, but you could have anger in you like cancer. And a lot of times people say, well, how did that person, they've been eating so clean? We don't know what they were holding on to in their life. Because if I was to hold on to my mother and my dad, that story that no longer serves me, that person doesn't even exist anymore because I am the new version of that. If I was to stay being that person that I just described to you, that I would have not be here. I would have been so angry, it would have conjured up in my body and I would have gotten cancer because that's cancer. That's cancer. But because I let it go and I forgive because my mother was a different person then. She's in a nursing home now. We had to put her in a nursing home. And at this particular point in time, we're supporting her. So we have unconditional love for me. I'm giving her the love she couldn't give me. So it's like we trade places. Now I'm the parent and she's we gotta switch places.
Well, you're
So
because
it's
you're doing the
interesting.
right thing. That's the right thing to do.
Yeah. So it's the right thing to do for me and her because I'm also getting something out of it because forgiveness is also for me to let go so I can have room for other things because if you hold on to anger it has space in your heart and you don't have room for love. You know what I'm saying? So I let it go so I can have room for love and I can fill other people's cup with this lifestyle and what we do because regardless of we want to admit it or not, people are always looking for people like us because they're looking for solutions. They're trying to find a way out and they're trying to see how other people are living. And that's the greatest thing of what I love about your channel is because
Mhm.
and people have found me on your channel. They started following me, say, oh, I saw you on Jillian's channel
Yeah.
and I just decided to follow you. And I was like, oh, wow, that's great. So you're doing an amazing job and I commend you for that. And I want
Thank
to give you
you.
your flowers while you're alive because I
Thank
know
you.
we don't tell people until like, damn, I should have told them. You're doing a great job, and I am so honored and privileged to even know you. I think you're amazing.
Me
And
too.
thank
I
you
think you're
for,
incredible. And yeah, we were talking before you came on. You've been on once before. Maybe no, you did a recipe too. So twice before. I think
yeah.
it was when I first started the channel like 4 years ago. And so those videos are so good too. I will put those down below. And I think you were living in Belize then. So you relocated your whole life from this raw lifestyle, right? Like you were in New
Yeah.
York before. Like, so that's pretty huge. And how has that experience been relocating to somewhere tropical? Do you like it? And I think you do
I
retreat.
love it.
I think you do retreats there, right? If you do, I'll put them
Yes.
below. Yeah.
Yes. I think being in a tropical environment, because I had put all my stuff out on the street because I came to Belize once and I said, I got to come back to the place because I was here on vacation. And then I decided I didn't want to come back from my vacation. I wanted to just buy some land and this and that. So I end up, you know, telling my boss that I'm gonna move on. And I transitioned. I was working at Reebok Sports Club. Then I was going into Equinox, and I left them. And I just sat in my apartment for a month to get my head together to see if this was right for me. But the fibroid, because my sister was like, we got to do something. We need to get you going. So I let go of everything, put things out on the garbage on the street. I had a knapsack, and me and my sister bought a one-way ticket, and we were out of here.
I love it. And then how long has it been now since you've been there? Like a decade, right?
It's like a 10 and a half years, going on 11 in January. So we've been here for like over 10 years,
It
but it's
looks
been a
really
blessing.
chill. It just does something to you living in the tropics. Like it really chills you out, right?
Oh my goodness. You don't even know. I feel like a different person. I feel like I feel like I've been born again. It's like, you know how people say in the Bible, you know, you go back and, you know, you go back into your mother's womb. I feel like I have a second chance of life that I could, and that's what I did. I didn't toss this away. I actually used it to heal. That's why I was able to love my mother and forgive her because this environment, oh my God, this environment is nothing but love. So I'm in the womb of love. I got love coming at every angle. So the environment helped me a lot.
Yeah, it must. Okay, so take us through a day in the life. What does a day in the life look like as far as like routines, like morning routines, evening routines, and like what a sample of like what you eat as a
Okay.
14 or 15-year raw
Mhm.
foodie?
So when I get up in the morning, I have a glass of water and lime to clean out my system, get everything out. And then I'll go into my meditation. And then after my meditation and my stretching and all and my movement practice, I'll go into having breakfast. But breakfast for me is like a juice because I don't want anything too heavy, you know. And so I'll have like a green juice, a big, you know, half a gallon of green juice. I'll drink that. And then lunchtime, I'll have like a raw vegan, either like a raw vegan taco, because I love the raw vegan taco, or sushi, a raw vegan sushi. And
Yeah.
then during the course of the day, I'm working with clients online because I'm still a fitness trainer. I'm guiding people through their movement practice. And then at dinner time, we have a pool. We have a swimming pool here. I'll probably go for a couple of laps before dinner. So I'll do some laps around. And then I'll, you know, get ready for dinner. And then we'll just sit down, me and my sister, and we'll talk about the course of the day. And like we'll spend time just vibing with each other at 5 o'clock. And then by 7 or 8, we're in bed, you know, we're sleeping to get up for the next day. So it's a real chilled out life. You know, and I'm so happy because I'll be honest with you, I got a pool. I used to watch this on Dynasty. You don't remember Dynasty. When I was a kid, I used to
Oh
watch
yeah,
like
my mom used to be all about Dynasty. I know Dynasty. Of course I know Dynasty because I was born in 1982. I know Dynasty.
And I used to watch so like they have a pool, and I was like, wow, one of these days I want to have something like that. So I got a pool, I got a yoga studio downstairs, and it's a blessing. Like I love my life. I mean, I'll be honest with you, and I'm so glad I wasn't good at unlifing myself because I would have missed. Oh, sorry, that was
See?
me. I would have
Exactly.
missed out on all of this. So I'm glad I wasn't good at it. But it's like when you come here, I hope one day you fly in and spend some quality time here because I have bungalows.
I'm
So
going
you have
to.
a place to stay with your husband and your child, the children. We have a couple of bungalows, like 8 around here. Then the river's down here. We got the river here. And then there's a pool over here. You got the yoga studio and you have access to the markets and everything. And we have a garden too where we grow food. So it's
See,
like a
there's
blessing.
nothing better than that. I visited a fruit farm in Miami a few months ago and we just ate off the land the whole day. And
Oh.
I swear to you, like nothing felt better than eating the food from the trees and the sleep. Like you talked about sleep a couple times there. I
Huh?
interviewed Dr. Josh this morning. He's the medical director at Hippocrates and
Mm,
he heavily studies Alzheimer's. And he said there's like
mm,
30 to 200 or something predictors and root causes of Alzheimer's or something. And number one is lack of sleep, like a lack of deep
yeah,
sleep long term can lead to Alzheimer's and dementia. So
you
you
see?
are so right in prioritizing
You
sleep.
see?
I think it's just so, it's not just the food, like sleep for our brain and our
Mm-hmm.
mental health. I've kind of suffered with sleep the last few years because of kids and now dogs and stuff. So it's kind of nuts, but it's important. It's important. And
It
okay,
is.
also, if somebody asks you why raw food, why raw food, Delilah? Why not just eat like the blue zones? Why not just eat like whole foods and maybe some meat? Like, why do you prefer raw food? Why do you think raw food has its power?
For me, and I'm going to be honest with you, I eat a lot of coconuts. I'm going to be honest with you. I think, you know, I'm Caribbean descent, so I'm tropical by nature. So sour sap we have here. We have the mangoes. I mean, for me, it just feels right for my body. I can't tell somebody else what they
Mhm.
should do, but I know for me, I thrive more on fruits and vegetables, unprocessed, uncooked. Also, my digestive system. My stomach is very sensitive, and a lot of times, uh, with meat, it didn't work for me. It just didn't, and I ate it because I wanted to be a bodybuilder, and everybody was telling me, "Oh, you should eat the meat because you get more muscle mass, and that's you want to be a bodybuilder, and you can't be on vegetables." So I bought into the hype, but the minute I started, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I had the fibroids. That's what turned everything around. But sometimes when you think something is a disaster, it's actually a blessing. And the fibroids was the catalyst to me really changing my life. So I don't have it anymore, but I could look back in hindsight and see what role it played for me to get to this place. So for me, the meat was a no-brainer, giving it up. I just was not interested in it. And some people are different. I don't want to,
Hmm.
and this is what I'm learning to do. I'm not trying to make somebody feel bad. I'm just saying from my personal experience, because I used to eat meat, that I know for my body, it thrives on the skin, it thrives on my organs. I feel energized, I feel alive. My eyes are, as 59, my grandmother had cataracts and it was yellow. She had all kind of stuff going on. So I know my genetic tissue. And I exceeded my mom is deteriorating. So if I'm 59 and looking like this, when I get my mom's age, I'm still going to be in this body active like this. So I'm really living my life in reverse because I want to live and I want to be conscious. I don't want to just live, but I want to be active in life. I want to be still doing what I'm doing and enjoying my life and getting my groceries and going to and gardening. I don't want to be just sitting in a wheelchair and somebody has to take me to the bathroom. I got bed sores because, the person is getting minimum wage and taking it out on me. And, I'm getting beat up in the nurse. I don't know what's going on, but just
What a way to
saying.
live, right? No,
Yeah. It's
no.
like, yeah, I don't want that. I've come too far. And so for me, this way of life has proven itself to me. I'm not just saying it, I'm living proof of it. And I want more of it. I'm addicted to it. I'm addicted to it. And I'm excited about my future. If I'm looking like this and I'm feeling like this, then sign me up for 20, 50 more years. I want more of that. And that's what
See,
I'm
this is
saying.
way better to be addicted to this side of things than addicted to the things that harm us, right? And who
Right.
knows if you'd be where you are today without the fitness aspect of things, right? And especially as we get into our, I'm 42, as I
Mm-hmm.
get into my 50s, we get into our 60s,
Yeah.
70s, 80s, like the fitness and the strength training and all that, that is really the key too, right? So, any
Yeah.
advice for those of us who want to get into
Well,
fitness or age well in the fitness department?
well, we know about menopause. We know about sarcopenia when women start to lose muscle mass. We also know about hip replacements. We know about that. So I would say for anybody that's on the fence, what are you waiting for? I mean, unless you are someone who is going to defy the law of gravity, it's going to happen. So why not be part of the change, be proactive in it so you can prevent what I'm all about prevention. I'm not all about managing diseases. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So I understand we live in a society where we manage disease, but I don't I deserve better. I grew up being, not loving myself. And to me, that's just this when I neglect myself, I did that already. You know what I'm saying? I did that. I've come to a place where I like this. I like loving myself. I'm in love with myself. I love myself. Hey, baby. I love myself mentally, physically, and spiritually. And I would be damned if I allow myself to leave this body and this earth without living my truth, loving myself, me loving myself. I'm not in a relationship. I've been celibate because I've been practicing how to love myself because celibacy for over 10 years because I was in very abusive relationship because I was so insecure and I wanted somebody to love me that I just let somebody treat me any old kind of way and talk to me any old kind of way that now I'm at a point where I finally got the chemistry that got it right, and I'm happy. This is the first time in my life I can honestly say that I know what it is to be happy, and even if that requires me walking this journey alone until I find my tribe, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it, and it doesn't make me a bitter person, and I'm not lonely.
I
You know.
love that. See, you're just filled up with I feel like that's when you do attract somebody though, even if you don't want it. Like
Yeah.
that's just the best. That's the best. Like that's the best. You love your life, you have
Hmm.
self-love. You're healthy. Like, what is better than that, right? You've created, and that's all because of you. You've created this because we're creators of our own life. You've created it all, right? And
Yeah, and
how has it
yeah.
changed your life being celibate? Has it changed your life in positive ways?
Woo! My goodness, girl, I should have signed up for this a long time ago because I used
I
to be
love
in
it.
an abusive relationship, busted lip, busted eye, and I kept thinking I can't let this person leave my life because I don't want to be by myself because who's gonna love me? I'm not pretty, I'm ugly, I'm black, I got nappy hair. Look at me, I'm not the picture of beauty. So all of this was playing in my head, and I stayed in situations, and I even walked into relationships that was not conducive to my health. So for me, I needed to fix me. I needed to figure out because the common denominator I was getting at in every relationship was me. And I needed to realize what in me is attracting this. I needed to figure that out. And so at the end of the day, I spent a lot of time celibate. I spent a lot of time because, and also there was rage in me, even in relationships. I was in a relationship, we'd be fighting each other, then we'd make up the breakup, and it was so toxic. And I knew going raw also helped me because the food was loving. My sister was loving; she was giving me advice, and it would have been an oxymoron for me to be eating fruits and vegetables, raw vegan, and being and attracting abuse. So I was like, you know what? Just be still and just trust the process. If it was meant to be, it will be. And if not, it doesn't take away from the quality of my life because I am love. I am love. So I know what loves look like. So if someone tries to come into my life that is manifesting or giving off a vibration of what I used to attract, then I know I'm okay. I'm not interested. So it requires something from all of us is to step out of our comfort zone, transformation, change. Because at the end of the day, I only have one life. So I can honestly say, if I was to transition out of my body, and this was my last interview with the fabulous, fabulous Jillian, I can honestly say, I'm okay. I'm all right. There's no
Wow.
regret in me. There's no animosity that shoulda, coulda, woulda. I own a retreat space coming from where I came from. I have this all the way in Belize. I grow food. So I came from welfare, a very interesting upbringing. If I could do it, anybody could do it.
And do you think that we are like true creators and manifest and attract like most things based on how we're feeling and like creating? Or do you think a lot of it is just like destiny and plays out just how it's supposed to be? It's not in our control, a lot of it.
I think it could be a combination, but for me, I never wanted to say it, and I know it always offends people when you say this, but I believe that I am connected to the source because I am the source. I am one with God because I am God. A lot of times when you say that, people will say, "Oh, you're blasphemy, blasphemy." But at the end of the day, I know my power, and I think as a young child, I was shamed to say that. People would say, "Oh, well, that you're just such a heathen. That's blasphemy." And I used to get slapped in the face because I used to ask my mother questions, and she would say, "Well, you don't question God. How dare you? I'll sin, I'll throw you out my house." So for my safety, I was taught not to question or say certain things. So I was trapped. And because of I needed some place to live, I abide by the rules, but it never served me. And it's not until I left my mother's house that I was able to start to ask the questions. But the trauma from my household was so traumatized that I put myself in an abusive relationship because I didn't feel loved. And I felt like I
Mm.
was dirty and I was wrong. And God, how dare I answer God back? So everything I get, I deserve. I don't deserve to be treated like a beautiful woman. So I based on coming out of that household and the trauma that I experienced, I manifested, I brought that to me because I didn't feel worthy. And my belief system was attracting my subconscious mind even when I was thinking one thing, but because of my belief system, my subconscious mind was pulling this to me. It was pulling all of
Hmm.
these people to me. And at the end of the day, it took me, the fibroids came at that point because I drew that to me because I had so much anger and self-hate in me. I
Hmm.
couldn't even look in a mirror because I thought I was ugly. I thought I was black, ugly. Who's going to love me? And that was very hard. That was very hard.
Yeah.
That was one of the hardest as a child not feeling love and not feeling attractive, and people saying, well, you're just ugly. You look like a monkey. I'm like, wow, I didn't even say anything to you. What did I do? And it's just weird. So I had to detox that out of my spirit, and the food helped me detox physically, but there was so much pain in my soul. My soul was crying out for help. It was crying for love.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So it took it why I would never go back, because to go back is death. It would kill me.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
It would kill
Wow.
me.
Wow, what a beautiful life you've had. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud
Yeah.
of you. I'm sure you hear that from other people around you, but I really am. I think it's just amazing how far you've come. And through all this, have you, I know it's kind of a shift in topic, but kind of not because
Mhm.
it's spiritual too. Have you done cleanses over the years? Do you do any cleansing or no? Like any
I
fasting that's changed your life in all this journey or no?
I do it when I'm sick, when I've usually I'll fast because my body is telling me that it wants to release something out of it. But because with me I eat a lot of food from the garden and stuff here, I don't fast as much, but I only
Hmm.
fast when I listen to my body, and I'll fast like during the equinox and stuff like that. I'll fast it for the seasons, and I'll fast for spiritual. You know, my mom was sick a couple of days ago, and I was sending prayers because I couldn't be there because I'm in a different country, but I was sending her love and light, and I was really putting, as far as fasting and cleansing my soul, so I could give her the strength that she needs to persevere. So I was sending out the signals to her, and she made it back into the nursing home because he was in the hospital for a couple of days, and I was nervous. So it she's all right now. So I don't fast. I only listen to my body when my body says we need to shut down and clean out what's inside here. So
Hmm.
that's the answer. I hope I answered your
And I mean, I'm
question.
glad you're able to still have a relationship with your mom, you know. I think that's amazing. A lot of people just
Yeah.
give up and hold on to the hate, so good job there.
Right.
And I look at you and I just see, wow, like a powerhouse, so fit. What about the protein? Because people always want to know, like,
Oh yeah.
they think it's all the protein. So what do you say when people ask, where do you get your protein? Or like, how do you handle that question?
Well, my sister's a chef, so we do a lot of legumes, like lentils, sprouted lentils. She makes nut meat, walnut meat when we do the tacos and stuff. So we do a lot of she measures everything because too much of one thing is throw you off. So as far as the fat, even with the avocados and everything, but we get ours a lot from the legumes. We add
Mhm.
incorporate that in our meal. And also I'm getting older. I'm 59, so I'm not giving birth to children, so my body requires not as much. So carbohydrates, fat, and protein, we mathematically, there's a mathematical equation. So as far as my age and stuff like that, I'm getting just enough where my body's using it to produce for the amino acids. So I don't need as much as I used to when I was lifting heavier weights, building more muscle mass. I could get by on some sprouted lentil salads, you know what I mean, with some avocado and stuff like that that she makes, that we eat with some of the natural herbs and stuff like that that we have in the garden. So
And
we're
do
pretty.
you do, would you say higher fat or lower fat, or you don't pay attention? Do you think it matters?
For me at my age, I could say it doesn't. We don't honestly. It does add bloating if I eat too much, or
Hmm.
if a food combination for me is big, or if I eat too late at night, it affects my bloating in my stomach. I'll look a little bloated in the morning. So I try not to eat 3 hours, 2 or 3 hours before I go to bed. But for us, as far as the fats, we don't it's funny because when you start getting 50, your appetite totally changes. So we only really eat when we're hungry. We don't sit and watch TV and just gorge. If anything, we'll probably have a kale salad, or eat the kale with some lime. So it's weird because as you've been in this lifestyle, your taste buds starts to evolve to another level. So
Hmm.
for somebody that's just coming in, that's 20, that's having babies and in a relationship, they require more
True.
because but I'm going through menopause, so my body requires something totally different, and the amount is not as great because I'm not as active as I used to be you know
Yeah. And
So
through menopause, did you take any like hormones or any of that? You know how some people, yeah, no. And it's been over
no.
a lot of raw vegans I interview, they say like going through menopause, it was like nothing to them. Is it like that for you?
Yeah, it just I think the only every now and then the heat flashes, but it wasn't really like the dryness because we get our H3O, our juices and stuff from the food. We're hydrated all the time.
True.
So it didn't affect me like that. It didn't, and people got the fogginess and everything. It's just every now and then heat flashes, but that was it.
Yeah. Okay. And the fitness, how many times a week do you work out and any other fitness tips?
All right. So as far as the fitness, I work out 3 times a week. I try to stretch it out, but the most important thing is recovery at this stage of my life, because to work out and to keep working out, you're doing more damage than good because the body needs to regenerate because you're breaking fibers. You're actually tearing muscle fibers. So 48 hours. So if I'm working out, I'll do upper body one day, lower body the next day, but I won't do consecutive upper body. That's too
Mhm.
much on my body. It tears and it has to recuperate, it has to repair itself. And you'll end up injuring yourself. And that's when you're in your 20s, you have that wiggle room. But when you're in your 50s and 60s, your connective tissues from years of wear and tear, and your shoulders and the lower back and the knees are the first to go. You blow
Mhm.
it out. It's like when you drive in a car, it's an older car, so you have to be generous with it. So I'm very mindful to take more rest, and that's why I started swimming instead of doing a lot of running. We got a pool, we do laps. The impact is not as intense on my knees.
Mhm.
So the swimming is good. Water aerobics is good. But at the end of the day, you have to listen to your body because what worked for me may not work for you. And you're 40 something. So your body's you got more wiggle room. You could wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. But for me, if
Mhm.
I was to tear a shoulder, it would take me longer to heal. So
Mhm.
I'm very mindful and consciously aware of what I'm putting my body through.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's good. Okay, I learned a lot there. And okay, what would you say, like you know so much now, what would you say are the three biggest things you've learned about health? If you could leave behind only three things for the world in a manual, like what would those three things be?
That's a good question. That's funny. Ah, what would I leave behind? I would leave behind, uh, wow, that's a great question. Damn, nobody's asked me that question before. You were first. I would leave behind my journal for my food. I would leave that behind. That's important because somebody else could take that and they don't have to make the same mistakes that I made to get to this point. So that means they're going to go even further than me. That the food journal. I would also, uh, and I'm going to say it, I would also leave behind like my journal, meditation, and stuff like that. I think that's important. I think for me, and as I age and I'm getting to that place, I'm making peace with the spiritual world. I'm making peace with the physical world. And for me, my peace is so important to me. The food is great, but my peace and my peace of mind is so important to me. So it's also very important of who I hang around, like that I allow into my space because I'm just healing from a lot of stuff and I value my peace of mind, and I don't want to disturb that because that's very important to me. It's like my sanctuary, my church, my mind, body, spirit. And so I could love people, but I know when it's time for me to remove myself out of a situation. And it's no disrespect to the other person, but I know how to excuse myself from certain conversations that don't serve me,
Hmm.
that I'm not being rude, but I would also leave behind, like I said, I would leave behind my journal, my nutrition, and also I would leave behind I don't leave jewelry because I'm not a material person. I would just want somebody to burn even my body, just burn it because
Hmm.
I don't want for me material things like I could wear the same thing all the time and be comfortable with just wash it. I'm not like a material person. I would like I don't even know. I can't leave clothes. I would just I can't leave my spirit because I'm going. My body. I can only see two things. Ooh,
Hmm.
two things. I can't think of the third, but
Well,
I'll
no,
get
that's
back to you on
good.
that.
That's good then.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
I
it. I'm
think you're
sorry.
amazing. No, that was a perfect answer. And this has been so amazing having you on. Like, I truly love you. I think you're incredible and you're such high vibes, so full of love. You're living your best life. So, thank you for coming on. Thanks for it's been nice to catch up because it was
I
fun when we did our first one. And,
know.
you're such a good person. When you were always reaching out to me, just sending me nice DMs asking how my mom was. And you're really a good person behind the scenes, too. So, I just want to give you your flowers because you're incredible.
Oh.
So thanks for coming on. Thanks for inspiring us. I look at you. I'm like, I need to get these arms more fit. Look at you. I'm like, I got to step up my game here.
Well, you
And
should come to Belize. I mean,
yes,
come and see me. I would love to have breakfast with you and we could make food together.
I will do that at some point for sure. Either
And I
this year
and
or
I have
next.
a nama juicer and I have a nama juicer. We got nama together. We could
Yeah,
nama
we'll
together.
make juices. I'm coming. If you guys want to save
And
on
we
our
could go
juicer,
swimming. We could go
yeah.
swimming and play. We could have a play date.
Yeah, that's what we need. We all need as humans to have more fun and play more. Like we need to have fun. This is what life is
Play
about,
date.
right? Let's
Play
all
date. I
have
would
fun.
love to
I'm gonna
eat
come
food with
for
you. Laugh.
sure.
Please come. My
I'm
doors are
coming.
always open to you. Bring the kids.
Yeah,
Everybody.
they would
Bring the
love that.
husband.
Yeah, we would love to
Yeah.
come. We're coming. I'll bring my cameraman. We can film a bunch of fun stuff to inspire
Let's
people. We'll come for
go.
sure. Well, definitely, I'm doing it.
All
Well,
right.
yeah, this has
Thank
been
you.
amazing. And everybody, you have a lot of events and stuff there that retreats. They look insanely, so much fun, such high vibes, so healthy, just a way to like live a more positive, better life.
Hmm.
So I'll link all that down below. You guys go check it out. Go follow Delila. You have such a huge, amazing, inspiring Instagram. And I think you're on YouTube too. So I'll put that down below. And if you guys want the same juicer we use, I'll put that down below with the code to save. And I'll put everything and I'll pop on
All
the screen
right.
right now. Delilah and I did a really good podcast a few years ago. It's so good, so inspiring too. I'll pop that on. And we did one of your favorite recipes, some sushi. So I'll
Yeah,
pop that on.
yeah, yeah.
So go make a green juice, watch one of his
Woohoo!
videos. They're so good. And be sure to subscribe. And we love you guys. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.
All right, bye guys.